Everyone. Today I'll be speaking in English because I want to keep it open to as many people as possible. We're going back into a previous project, which was to create an extension for Visual Studio Code. As you may know, I already developed a first version of it. So you can find it at github.com/adrianjoly/VSCode-spellchecker. And you can also find it on the Visual Studios marketplace if you look for FR Spellchecker or French Spellchecker. Okay, as you may know, it's still in development, meaning that I only tested it on my own computer, which is a Macintosh, a MacBook Pro. So I don't think it's gonna work on Windows or Linux or things like that. But I'm really happy to hear about your experience if you decide to try it on another platform, so I can try to improve it. So far, and the motivation of that presentation today is that I'm actually using this extension a lot to prepare my programming classes in French, because I write them using the Markdown language, and I still want to have the spell checking that we used to have in typical text processing software like Microsoft Word and things like that. Even though I don't want the typical formatting using the mouse, I want to format using Markdown. So I decided to use Visual Studio Code for that, because I kind of like this editor. And this was the motivation to build a French spell checker that works offline on that editor. So that was the original motivation. So I forked it from another plugin that used to do that, but it was not fast enough, and most importantly, it was not working for words, French words that have a single quote into the word. So this was a big problem, because when you write in French, you use single quotes a lot. Because of that problem, I decided to fork the original spell checking extension and make it my own version that will use another spell checking engine that seems to be an engine that works natively in Mac OS. That's one of the reasons why I think it's not going to work on another system, another platform. But today we are focusing on one bug that I've been experiencing many times, quite randomly, meaning that some of my misspelled words were not spotted by the extension. And this was very irritating, because when you use a spell checker, you expect all the spelling errors to be spotted by the extension, right? Because otherwise, it's no point using a spell checker in the first place. So I tried a first time to identify the cause of that bug and to isolate it so that I can reproduce it later on. So I created an issue on the GitHub project, because I realized that when I had at some point a file that only contained a Markdown file, only contained this text that you see on my screen normally, the spelling errors were spotted on the first part before 3 dashes here, but on the rest of the documents, the same errors were not spotted. Unfortunately, I was not able to reproduce that bug reusing that same file another day. It was not bugging anymore for some reason. And maybe 3 to 4 days later, I was writing a course for my students, and the bug reappeared again in another file. So I thought, okay, maybe I should keep the entire file as is and try to work on that one. And just before starting that stream, I actually did reproduce the bug. So I'm pretty confident that now we will be able to find a solution for that. So as you know, I was going to fix that bug anyways, but I'm willing to share this because I realized that some people may not be familiar on how to fix a bug. Being technical or not technical, by the way, I mean, if you're not a developer and you're facing some bugs sometimes and you're feeling frustrated because you don't know how to communicate with developers, watching this stream will help you to understand what a developer needs to know in order to fix a bug. So it will help you communicate better on how to explain what the bug is and how to reproduce that bug for the developer to fix it. Okay, so we'll go in all those steps together. Also, if you have any questions or ideas that you would like to explore during that stream, please use the chat function of either Twitch or Live.edu, depending on where you're watching this stream from. Ask your questions, even if I seem dumb, it's okay, because I'm not having too much traffic anyway, so I'm really happy to have your questions in the stream. So here we go. Let's go back to my Visual Studio window here. As you can see, this is a Markdown file. And in this Markdown file, so far, I don't see any spelling errors showing up. But if I go down in the file, you see that here some of the words are not recognized. There is a spelling error as recognized by my extension. Yeah, for example, it says that set attribute, it's not a French word, obviously, okay? So that's pretty reassuring. It means that the spell checker actually works at some point in the document, so it's doing its job. The problem is that I realize that if I go up the document and I insert a spelling error, it's not spotted by the spell checker, and that's a problem. You see here, I wrote bonjour with a spelling error. I put 2 U instead of 1. So that should have been spotted as a spelling error, and it didn't. And at the same time, if you go down the documents, there are some words that are spotted. So it means that the spell checking works on the documents, but not everywhere on the documents. So first thing I need to do in order to fix that bug is to understand in which context that bugs exist, you know. So I will try to systematize to find what is the cause or the context of that bug, okay? So in order to do that, I will take that mistaken French word, bonjour, with 2 U, and I will try to paste it in many places of the document in order to understand if this problem reacts to a specific context. So for example, if I copy it from here and I'm gonna paste it right before the first spelling error and save the document. And as you can see here, bonjour is spotted as a spelling error. So it means that for some reason in that area of the file, the spell checking works great, but when you go back to that area, for some reason it's not working. So what I'm gonna do is keep pasting this text in many places of the document in order to understand what could be the cause of being spotted in one place and not on the other place, okay? So let's, for example, I'm gonna put it here, getting an error as well, here, error as well. Now let's try to put it before the dashes here. I'm getting an error as well, but now you realize that there's some weird behavior, meaning that if I add it here, it removes the mistake, the error of the next parts, as you can see. So let's try to remove it again and save. And again, as you can see, it's giving back the focus to the next mistake. But So it's spotted here and here, but not here. It's like, it's really weird. So what about if I put it right next to the first one? Same behavior here, you see? Only the first error is spotted. What if I add a few blank lines like this? If I add a dot, it's doing the same thing again, you know? So now let's try to put code between the two bonjour. Same thing. So you see, for some reason, the first occurrence of bonjour is spotted as an error, but the next ones are not spotted until I had some sentence written, and then it sees the spelling error again for some reason. So in order to understand that, I'm gonna copy and paste that sentence and put it here, hoping that maybe the next bonjour will show up as an error, and it does. So you see the difference? If I have like JavaScript code, it kind of hides the next error, whereas if I put some French sentence here, it does not hide the error, it finds it. So now what I'm going to do is, this is not like a typical sentence that you can see in every French document. So I'm going to try to minimize it to its smallest representation to see what parts of that sentence could actually cause the bug, okay? So I'm going to do, like, very progressively remove some words to know if these words could be the cause of the problem. So first I'm going to do like with big chunks of words. So I'm going to start with the 6 first words of that sentence and just remove them from the sentence and save the file. As you can see, it's still spotted here. So it means that this part of the sentence is completely independent from the bug. It doesn't matter if the text is here or not, you know, like the behavior is the same. So now let's try to remove all the text that I have between parentheses. Save. It's not changing anything again. Let's try to remove this chunk of text. Saving. Look. Now it's not seeing the error anymore. And if I put it again, I can see the error again, okay? So that's interesting. It means that the cause of this error must be related to this part of the text. To make sure that it's really this part that causes the problem, I'm gonna remove the rest of the line. So let's, okay, that's the initial case. Let's remove the rest. It doesn't change anything, so it's not related to that. Now let's remove that. It's not changing anything. So let's remove the word variable. It's not changing anything. Let's remove par là. Not changing anything. So apparently the word référencé for some reason makes it so that the next error is spotted by the spell checker. And if I remove it, again, the next word is going to be ignored. And let's try with another word maybe. Let's put bonjour without the spelling error. In that case, the error is spotted as well. It's really weird. Okay. So to sum up, let's go back to the latest state. If I remove everything between an error and another error, it hides the second error. If I add a word in between with an error, it's gonna see the error as well. And if I add another word like au revoir without error, it's also spot the errors. So it's a little bit confusing, so I'm gonna go back to what I had before. Like in that case, if I put some code between, it's gonna ignore the problem, okay? If I put a full text or even a simple text like this, it shows the error. So what about if I had some code and I had some text? It sees the error again, okay? What if it could be that these kind of quotes here create the problem, okay? Because what I had initially is that, but there are also a second case is when I have, it's very complex to understand, because if I put twice bonjour, twice in a row, only the first one is detected. If I put another text in between, then it's working. Okay, now if you have an idea of why this is happening, I'm really open to your ideas, because it's really confusing for me right now, okay? So in order to keep it simpler, maybe we could try to start from scratch in a new file that I'm gonna name bug.md for markdown. And I'm going to do exactly the same spelling error. As you can see, even without text on another file, I'm getting exactly the same problem. Now let's try to remove the spaces before, because I realized there was a single space. Let's try to remove punctuation. So yeah, this is happening as well for some reason. If I put au revoir on the same line, then for some reason it's working again. So I guess that when an error is spotted, it has a kind of side effect to the rest of the document, unless you put a word without spelling error. If you au revoir is misspelled, let's say I write it without error. So in that case, it sees the two errors, but if I don't, it doesn't see it. What if I put it twice on the same line? You see? So let's try to reproduce that. Okay. So I guess that for this spell checker to work, if I'm getting it right, it means that when you have a spelling error, you need to put a word without spelling error in order to like reactivate the spell check on the next word, okay? Now let's reproduce that situation again. So this has no error, so it's like resetting the spell checking. What about if I type bonjour and then I put in some JavaScript code like I usually do in my classes? As you can see here, we're getting the same behavior as if we didn't put any words without errors, meaning that the next error is ignored, okay? So I guess that using this type of how you call that, of formatting for code, this is for writing code in Markdown, okay, is completely ignored by the system, which makes sense because this is supposed to be JavaScript code and not French language, okay? So I don't want the spell checker to trigger from there. So that's a good thing. So now that we know that after each error, the spell checker kind of expects a word without spelling error, a proper word, we can go back into the source code and try to figure out what's really happening every time an error is spotted. So I'm gonna open the place where the extension is done. So it's on my GitHub directory, and that's VSCode Spellchecker. Let's open that in a new window of Visual Studio Code. Okay. I don't care. So let's find the place where the actual checking is done. Do spell check here. So this is the function that is called every time a spell checking operation occurs. So what I'm gonna do is identify where the words are processed, and I'm gonna display it in the console to have a listing of all the spell checking operations and to see if some of the words were skipped during that process. So that's going to be my first hypothesis, meaning that what I'm guessing from the behavior of that bug is that when an error is spotted, it's like some part of the text are being ignored. Okay, so we are missing some occurrences. So I want to make sure that there is no ignored text in the document. So here, as you can see, it's processing a lot of regular expressions on the text to isolate special characters and stuff like that. Trailing quotations, tabs to space. Okay, tokens. So I guess that tokens are going to be words. So first I'm going to see, I guess that's the line I'm interested in for showing what the token is, okay? So this is where I want to do a console log. New token, and I just display it, okay? But first, before doing that, because my hypothesis is that some tokens are being ignored, I want to make sure that in that part there's no way of skipping a token. So I'm looking for a continue word maybe, or a break word that will interfere with the for loop here. But apparently there's no break in the loop, so this is gonna show up every time, I guess. So in order to check that, I'm gonna use the keyboard shortcut F5 that is used to run the spell checker extension in a new instance of the editor. So right now it's opening a new editor with my custom fixed or debug version of my extension. Except this time we normally gonna see some text showing up in the console below. So now that we have a new instance here, I'm gonna reopen our bug.md file and see, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I know, okay. This extension is made in a language that is not really JavaScript. It's called TypeScript because it's more it's got type enforcement control to help you write better code. So in order to compile it to JavaScript, we need to run a script. Okay, so I'm gonna open a terminal and run that script. So it's gonna be there, and then VSCode, and then we need to run a npm script, which I believe was called compile. Yeah. And as you can see, it's watching for file changes here, meaning that the script would keep running, and every time I make changes in the code, it's gonna recompile everything. Okay, so this is perfect. It's exactly what we need to develop this thing and have it work. So okay, maybe we need to close it and restart it. Okay. This is irritating. So I'm gonna check. Oh, okay. I guess we have some option to catch all the errors that are happening, because this is actually in a try catch, so it should not stop the execution of that extension here. Probably we're using a mode in which every time an error is triggered, even in the try catch block, it's gonna just stop the execution. So I'm gonna look for the option to prevent that. To be honest, I don't really remember how to do that, so it's not there. Maybe go. Okay, I need to open the debug panel. No. If I remember well, there was a simple... Oh yeah, breakpoints, all exceptions or uncaught exceptions. So I don't want all exceptions. So let's restart. Yeah, I know. Yeah, see? So now we're running exactly the same file with the same bug. But now we're in debug mode, so we can see exactly all the words that were processed by the spell checker. Spell checker now active, as you can see. New token bonjour. New token, I don't know what is that. Is that a space or I don't really know. Okay. But what we get is that we get bonjour, something empty, another bonjour, something empty, and then autre mot. So let's go back to the other file and see. Oh, this is not the one. Sorry, I have many windows. Okay, this one. This is the debug instance. So we are getting here bonjour, an empty thing, which I believe is this one. Another bonjour, another space, and then we're getting autre mot. Okay, so it means, oh no, we're getting actually like this, the little 2 here means that the second one was seen as well. So my hypothesis, meaning my hypothesis that some words are skipped is not valid that far, meaning that all the tokens are seen. There's no problem about that at that point. So we're gonna go back to the code and try to dig deeper. So new token, that's it. The length of the token is checked to be more than 3 characters, meaning that probably the empty token here is going to be ignored because of that condition here. Find line number, column number, okay. What is that? Okay, that's interesting. Maybe I should move my console log and put it here. Is there else for that? Okay, new token, and let's put the position, last position. Okay, let's just print position and see what it contains. Because I'm not sure about what this code is for. You know, it's just part of the code I forked from someone else, and I don't understand all of the logic here. So I'm gonna just print that, and then okay, we have no single quotes that far, so I don't care about that part. And then yeah, this I'm really interested in. Is it misspelled or not? Okay, so we're gonna print that. So for every token that is more than 3 characters long, we're gonna print the token, print whether or not it's misspelled, and then print its position in the console. So now what I'm gonna do is save that file. So it's going to recompile, I guess, and I'm gonna restart the extension. So now back in our extension debug mode, let's see what we get in our console. So we are getting 3 times the token bonjour true 0, meaning that that's interesting. And then we're getting the autre word. So it means that apparently when it's reading, sorry, again I'm opening the wrong, I have too many windows open. So let's open that. Yeah. So the tokens are detected, and the 3 bonjour tokens are recognized as misspelled. So that's a good sign. It means that the spell checking is actually working. So the problem must not be at that stage. There's one thing that's a little weird, though. I don't know what is the position variable supposed to mean, but for these 3 words, I'm getting the same 0 value here, even though the position isn't exactly the same. Like on that case, it's on the same line, but they're not on the same X position. One is the first word of the line, the other one is the second word of the line, so the position is not exactly the same. Maybe there could be a link between that. Okay. If you look at the word autre, mot is ignored because it's less than 3 characters. That's okay. And sans, this word, is detected as not being misspelled, but it's getting a position of 10 for some reason. Okay, so I'm guessing that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. So position must be the horizontal position, like the number of the character on that line, I suppose. If that's true, it means that the second bonjour of my text here is not detected at the right position. So that's a problem. Okay, so maybe there could be a bug in this part of the code. Find line number and column number. So let's see. That's interesting. Here it's using index of to detect where is the token within that line, and it's using the second parameter, last position, to start the search at the position of the last found occurrence. But in this context, when you're running it for the first time, last position is not set at that point. So I'd like to know. Okay, last position is 0 at that point. Okay, So it means that on the first iteration, for the first token ever, is gonna evaluate index of from the beginning of the line, which seems fair. Problem is that it should not be the same case for the second bonjour token on the same line. So let's check that. I suppose that line number is going to be the content of the first line, containing, in our case, twice the word bonjour. So if we look for the bonjour token in that line, starting at position 0, this is going to return 0. Position is going to be 0 for the first token. So let's go now to the while loop here. It says that we're running some code as long as position is smaller than the 0, meaning that the token was not found in that line. Okay, it's not our case here for the first token, so it means that on the first iteration this is not going to be run. So the first call number is going to be position, which has a value of 0 at that point. So for the first token, it's totally normal that we're getting a 0 here. What is not normal is that we're getting a 0 for the next bonjour token. So as you can see here, the last position is set to position, which is 0 on the first iteration. So next time we're running this code on with the second token, the second bonjour token, well, this is what is going to happen. It's going to read the same line again, look for bonjour, starting at position 0 again. And I think that's a problem, because if you do that, it's going to return 0 again, right? So we want to look at last position, no, still at last position, but here when we change the value of that, we want to look at last position plus 1, because we want to look after the previous match. If we put the same value for last position, it's going to return every time the same position for every error on the same line, okay? So I'm guessing that we need to change that. But before trying it, I need to make sure that last position is not going to be updated later on in the code. So I'm going to do a command E and a command G to look for all the occurrences of that word. And I see that, fortunately for us, it's not too complex, because it's only showing up in a few places, just here. So I think we're gonna be fine with this. So let's try it. So now, if I did my work well, what I'm expecting is that when I rerun the extension, next time we're gonna get one first line, which is gonna be next token bonjour true 0, and then we're gonna get a new token bonjour true with some other position like 8 or something like that, because the position of the second bonjour on the same line is not on position 0. And maybe for some reason it's gonna show it as a misspelling, as a spelling error, even though here it doesn't at that point. So let's save the file, let it recompile, and then rerun our extension. It's gonna warn again. I don't care about that. Let's close that file. Look, now it's getting it. So it's seeing the mistake here now. So I guess that maybe we fixed the bug. So let's see. Let's reopen the initial bug file. So this is the file in which I discovered that something was off. So now in that part, it seems to be working. Okay, you see all the misspellings showing up as expected, but still, like on the top of the document, there is an occurrence of bonjour with a spelling error. So we did fix the first bug, but there still is another bug. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna commit that bug into GitHub, and explain what I did to solve it, and maybe we'll take care of the other bug for our next session. So now, getting back to my developer cap and not my user cap, I need to do a bug fix. So I actually found the technical solution to do it, but now I need to package it and explain it so that other contributors or developers or even curious users can know what was the problem and how I solved it. Okay. So what I like to do is watch where are my actual changes on that file. Fortunately, um, in Visual Studio Code, you can see it here on the left of the screen. The lines that change are displayed in blue, and the lines that were added are displayed in green. Here it was just a new line, so I'm gonna just remove it. I like to keep my bug fixes as simple as possible. I just want to add the minimum number of lines that I need to add, okay? But I will make one exception. I will, even though I don't want it to be run again, I'm gonna keep that console log line because this helped me a lot to figure out where the error was coming from. And it may help me for the next bug fix. So I'm gonna just comment it out and leave it here, okay? And this is the line that caused the bug. So yeah. Now, before committing, I need to open that file again from the version management panel to see what is that. Oh, this was an experiment of something I did earlier. Okay, so I'm gonna use something else. I'm gonna use a software that I like using a lot that's called Source Tree, and it's very practical because I can handpick the changes I want to include. Sorry, in my commit, in my GitHub commit. So I'm gonna just open that file and I'm gonna add only this modification. That's it. So the only thing I'm gonna commit is this. Second thing I need to commit for historical reasons, documentation reasons, is the change log of that project. I'm guessing that the original developer, I put it in the README file. Known issues. I'm surprised that there's no change log. That's weird. Okay. Fair enough, so I'm gonna create a change log. So let's see what was the current version. Current version was probably in package. Okay. 1 to 10. Let's see the history of that. Okay, it's 1 to 8. So yeah, I want to make it as clear as possible. 1 to 8. Forked from. So the from must be in the README file, I guess. Okay. Yeah, we'll include the issue number as well. That could be useful. And then I created a version 1.9 that contained No, I didn't change the version here. This is all the changes I made. Okay, maybe we can use the blame functionality instead to see exactly what happened on that specific line with the version number here. Okay, 2.10 added icon and updated links to VSCode marketplace. So this is what I had made on 1.2.10. Okay. Maybe I was clever enough to create some releases. No, I didn't. Not even tags. That's not very nice. Okay, let's see maybe in the commit history. 1.2.10. Okay. Updated readme. Added more info. Okay, so maybe I need to go back to this and check every commit to see what changed. History. Of our language support, faster spell check. Okay, maybe I need to include this. Okay. What else? So this, I'm taking this opportunity to document better my version. Package to space indents. Okay, we don't really care about that. Update title, repo, auto metadata. We don't really care about that. VSC script. Yeah, we don't really care about that either. So this is gonna be enough. Okay. So now I'm gonna do a version 1.2.11, which contains a bug fix. Same error on same line. Two. Okay. And now, in order to further document this, I'm gonna display a screenshot of what was happening before and what's happening now that it's fixed. So this is how it looks like after the fix. And now let's see how it looked like before the fix. So we're gonna open the same file, except we're gonna open it with the current version before the fix. Okay. So I'm gonna quit that, don't need it anymore. And I'm gonna again make a screenshot of this. That's it. So now I have two screenshots, before, after. Yeah. So this is before. and this is after. Yeah. Okay, and this I need to save it to changes.md. And now I need to change the package.json file to include the version number. That's it. That's it. And now, so I'm going to mention that fix here in the commit message. Include the changes file. Include the version number in package.json, and this I don't need to change it right away. I will just keep it in my local repository. I'm gonna just commit that to GitHub and push it. And now, because I want to keep things clear and clean, I'm gonna make sure that, yeah, I got the commit here in GitHub, and I'm gonna create a new version out of that. So I'm going to releases, create a release, and that's 1.2.11 from the master branch, and we say that this was a bug fix. That's it. Publish. Or maybe I could include before, after. Let's document a little bit. Yeah. And I'm gonna include even the text for reference. Yeah. Update. So now we can see exactly what these bug fix did. And even better than that, I'm gonna include a link to that in the issue partially fixed by version 1.2. Okay, and I'll fix the rest of it in a future session. I hope that you enjoyed it, and maybe see you next time. If you want to vote for the topic of the next streaming session, you just have to go to adrianjoly.com/livecoding, as it's displayed in the corner of that screen somewhere in its shorter version. So you can watch the stream from there. You can see what's the date of next session, and I will put here, or you can actually vote from here. It brings you to some survey page where you can select or propose another topic for the next live coding sessions. Have a great day and see you next time. Bye bye.